Hello, how are you guys? I hope you guys are doing great, and we wanted to talk to you guys. Today will be the Saturday video, and we wanted to talk to you guys about our experiences in Orlando. He's looking for his best angle. I think his best
bitch.
angle is this one because mine is like always bad. Anyways, long story short, I think so far we've been enjoying Orlando, Florida. Really, really nice. Um, I'm going to talk about my experiences. I think the food is amazing. They have a great variety of choices and options when it comes to Latin food. They have Dominican, they have Puerto Rican. Most predominant in Orlando, I think, is more Puerto Rican food. They also have Cuban food. They have Venezuelan food. They have Colombian food. And there's just very limited places where you can get Mexican food, which is kind of
Or a lot of Japanese or like Korean.
there's not a lot.
There's very, very little. And if they are, they're so expensive because it's not a hot commodity that we haven't really had the chance to try many.
No, we haven't. And then places that I personally have loved to visit in the past. I think one of my favorite ones, even though I was sad and uncomfortably sick or ill, and when I had the pneumonia back in January, I think it was Miami. I think I love, and I feel when I think about it, I feel more like the energy and the more artistic vibes, and I didn't feel like it was at all expensive. I think from Miami to Chicago, I think Chicago will be more expensive to our personal point of view or experience. But overall, I think we had a great time, and I also believe that over here in Orlando, at least in Florida in general, the beaches are a little bit different. They have a lot of this woman right here. It's a little bit slick.
Girl, I'll get that out of my face right now. Oh my gosh.
So, anyways, I was talking to you guys about, the beaches I feel like are a little bit different. They have crocodiles, they have bugs in their water. What else do they have? They have snakes.
Yeah, the wildlife in Florida,
It's wild.
pretty wild. It has its good things and its bad things. I feel like compared to the many, many states we've lived in, I don't know, it's just so different.
It's very different. It's always like I remember, and then we're about to start the season when it's like really hot, but it rains, and you don't get sick. It's kind of a confusing thing to
Yeah,
do.
it's really muggy and like hot and humid. Sometimes it's like 80% humid, which is very, very awful. It's angering. This state is just something else. It's a force to be reckoned with, and not always in the best of ways. I feel like there's a lot of diversity. Let's say, for example, compared to like the Midwest, where we spent like a year and a half to 2 years with.
We actually spent 2 years.
In the
Three, almost three, because we've been with my dad for 3 years.
in the Midwest, there's not a lot of variety, and if they are, it's very secluded and segregated, and you just feel an atmosphere in the air of like, you always have to watch behind your back because you just don't know who's gonna come after you for whatever, for looking any type of way.
And I think it was it's a very different experience coming from even Vegas or California. And I think it was a great experience overall for personal growth, definitely. And I think it's a really good experience for us to move back to a place where there's more variety and there's more diversity, even though there's not a lot of diversity when it comes to the gay community. But there's more health resources. There are more even though they say that there's a lot of jobs, there are a lot of jobs in here. There aren't. We have experienced a very huge lack of employment in here, and
And if they are employing, because of how expensive this state is, the state used to be really affordable in maybe the early 2000s to mid 2000s. A 2 bedroom, 2 bathroom, 1,300 square feet apartment would be anywhere from, depending on the area, of course, and how renovated it was. But it was anywhere from 8 to like 9. Now, a 2 bedroom, 2 bath in the ghetto, is what, like 14, $1,400.
yeah,
And this is like water separate, sewer separate, trash separately. Plus, they do a lot of these apartments now are doing valet trash, which I hate. Because
It's so
it's you
inconvenient.
gotta pay extra $25 to $45.
And sometimes even if you pay for that, and if they didn't come and pick up your trash, and your trash gets full, you still have to go and leave it, drop it at the trash can.
Right. And I mean, it's an extra expense. So it's a really, really expensive city. And unfortunately, the job market, the minimum wage here is anywhere from $7 to $8 and some change. Um, I mean, honestly, you might say, oh, well, a lot of places have low minimum wage. Like, for example, Midwest Indiana, some of them had low wage, but most of the jobs were paying, $12 to $13.
And they do offer you 40 hours, and also they offer you like the benefits, and they have other options when it
This
comes.
is in Indiana, right?
Yes, and
But
they
over
also
here,
have
no.
no. In Indiana, you have that option where you can definitely get an apartment for like $700 to $1,000.
A 2 to 3 bedroom, yeah.
Where in this state, it's kind of like you
It's
spend so much money and you can barely make it.
yeah, yeah. Unfortunately, and there's so many stories about like employees from Disney,
Sorry.
big theme parks like Universal. They're working their 40 hours, well, or the 35 hours. That's what they consider a full time here. Their 35 hours, which let me tell you, those 5 extra hours make a difference, in your paycheck. And they're sleeping in their car. You know what I'm saying? They're dedicating their life, uh, to
Barely make it.
this employer to barely make it because they can't afford it. They can't do it. You know,
And at this moment, I think it's really hard because even when it comes to healthcare, a lot of the times they are not even able to pay for it.
yeah, they don't offer you in this state. They don't offer you any healthcare benefits unless like you're an elderly or I think you have children. Unlike California, for example, that California, if you don't have the means to go and afford for healthcare, and if you qualify, you can do Medicare, right? Is it Medicare or
Medicare,
Medicaid?
Medicaid.
I don't know the difference. Excuse my ignorance in that term, but
Yeah, they do have more options when it comes to that, but when the states they're like, yeah, well, sorry, keep trying,
it's hard.
and everything is so expensive. Like
Food is more expensive here.
just to give a quick example, a couple of months ago, my dad had started experiencing more of a epilepsy, and then because of that, we had to have how do you call that? We had to call the ambulance just for the ambulance to come and pick him up. We got charged 2,000. Oops, I'm sorry. We got charged. I'm sorry, $2,000. Just remember, this is a podcast. It's not like a professional video. It was like a $2,000.
These bitches are lazy.
Yes, it was so mind. It blows my mind how expensive it can be, and it's supposed to be more. My dad is
Elderly friendly.
77, and it wasn't that kind of like friendly. In Indiana, it was. I think his insurance covered the ambulance when it happened one time, and it wasn't like crazy expensive, and I think and in any kind of time if you're going through some hardships or some uncomfortness when it comes to money, it's really nice to be if you're by yourself, because he has been by himself most of the time and I've been by myself most of the time. I don't have anybody to support me before I met him, and he didn't have anybody to support him. So it was kind of like you either work hard, and we together we also learned that if you don't work hard, you don't have anywhere to sit, anywhere to eat, anywhere to travel.
Yeah.
People don't give you anything for free, and it's just unfortunate.
People like to take from you, not give you. At least not everybody, but most of the people, they at least within our experiences, especially with like hair and like the beautifying that we do in the industry, it's really hard to find good quality people that are not coming to your circle because of what you can offer them other than your friendship.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I do say this as unfortunately, we're very giving people, at least with, the experiences we've had. We
Yeah.
really love to make sure people feel welcomed and happy and
Comfortable,
loved and
happy.
comfortable. You know, if we have it, we'll give it, you know, and it's fine. But a lot of the times,
People that take it,
take
just take advantage of
advantage.
it. People are like, okay, well, I had when I met Domel, Domel made me redirect the way of thinking of friendship, and I had a good friend back in the days, where he would I felt horrible because he had some traumatic experiences with his health, and so he wasn't able to walk properly. He didn't have a car, so he would have to wait 1 hour to get
He was handicapped.
to the bus, and he just had some major issues, and I always felt bad, and I've always been that kind of person to give back to people, because because I have a hard time with it. You should have that too. If there's something I can do to help, well, I'll do that, and
Yeah, because I can see like both separately on our own and like together. We've been through so many situations that have really helped us to like understand who we are as people and like what we expect from people and you know what's good and what's not, how things feel when they're not nice. You know what I'm saying?
definitely. And so where I was going really quickly with that example is that the fact that I helped him so much, and like I would give him rides, I would pay for his food, and sometimes he would even trash it. He wouldn't even eat anything,
You took full
and
responsibility financially and emotionally for
we
him.
would go buy for clothing for him, and I'm only venting not because I want to be feel better, but because I want to give you a quick example. When we left that state to move to Vegas, a quick a year later, he was doing so much better, and he as soon as he got his license permit, he got his started working out more for his health, and he became better. He bought a car. He got an apartment out of nowhere, and I was like, "How did you get all this stuff?" Because,
Because
you
he
know,
didn't even like he dropped you completely.
he didn't even have money, and so I asked him, "How did you get to this point?" And he said, "Well, all this time before I met you, I started saving up money for myself, and I realized that with those little things and the people that and experiences that we have been through together, Romel and I realized that you do have to be kind of selfish with you, and you have to be, just don't always give everything away because people will take most of it, and they don't care. Like people don't care if you eat. Some people will give you food for once or twice, but not every day. And it's your own responsibility as a human being, not only as an adult or as a teenager, or as a grown as a woman or a grown as man, or whatever you feel like. It's your responsibility. You can't really expect anyone just to give you and be like, oh well, I'm waiting. Because I used to be that kind of people when I was living with my mom. Like, oh well, my mom will fit me. My mom will give me clothes back in the day when I was like, I don't know, 14, 15, and it doesn't work that way. Nobody gives your parents money. Nobody teaches them to be parents. Nobody teaches us to be good human quality beings. Quality beings, quality human beings, and oh my gosh, what I'm talking about?
Or quality beans.
Maybe I'm hungry. So I just think it's a responsibility overall for everybody. But I'm just gonna leave it right there. Is there anything that you would like to add? Let us know in the comments down below. What would you like to hear? And what kind of looks would you like to hear? Would you like to see? Would you like to smack on the makeup on his face? And let us know in the comments down below what would you like to hear in this podcast. We would love to talk to you guys about our personal experiences.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.